painted up the top here for the instrument panel combing, but I realised I need to still put, there's 2 photo etch pieces that need to go in there, so I'll glue them in and spray it in again, because I'm not really sure what colours they're meant to be. They don't mention it there, but I'm just going to spray it in black. You won't really see much once the windscreen section's in. So I've cleaned up the sight that goes through the windscreen. There's a clear piece that's got to be glued on the back. So I'm cleaning up and preparing all the other parts for painting. These are the doors for the gun bay section. So I haven't put the gun in yet, I'll do it later on. You have the option to put a closed panel there with the gun, so you really won't see much. So I'm going to have the doors open so you can see the bit of the gun. I've started cleaning up the torpedo. I put the fins on the rear and the propellers. I need to do this photo etch goes around the back of it yet. Landing gear, legs together, they're pretty simple. They just plug in, so there's no problem with the fit of them. This cowl to line up with the exhaust holes made it misaligned with the fuselage slot section for the antenna mast, so I've just used my blade to clean it out a bit, because the way it was, it would have made the antenna twist because it wasn't aligned properly. But I won't glue that in yet. I thought I may have to cover up. I thought I was going to be left with a great big hole there because I was modifying it, but it worked out alright, so I'll leave that off until later, so I can paint, make it easier to paint, because the nose has got the red patch on it, which is a bit odd when you think about it. They'd have anti-glare, but no. Put some putty in there, perfect plastic putty for that gap that was in between that photo etch. That side's alright, this side wasn't. I need to come in now and spray the top again, the interior green, clean that up, and then I can start. I'm going to have a look at, I'll probably glue the windscreen in. Obviously you don't need to glue all the canopy on unless you're doing the single piece, but I'll have a look how it all fits. I haven't gone that far yet. If it all fits good, it might be right to leave off. The only thing that is really concerning me now is I've grabbed this sheet for the mask set and I cannot see cut lines. Now I'm worried that they haven't stamped it hard enough to get the cut lines in. I've even peeled it back. I'm still having trouble seeing, but I think it's there because I can see now. I can see marks underneath for the shape, so it's just so difficult to see where they're cut. And I think the yellow paper works better, so you can see the corner and then you can just pry it off with a sharp blade. But if you can't see it, it's a bit hard to know where you're grabbing it from. Anyway, I'll have to work that out. Oh, these doors for the underside here open up with a torpedo area. These bits are too thick to fit in here, so I had to sand them down. They were too thick, they wouldn't fit at all, so I've sanded them down that they will fit. On the propeller's one piece, you just glue this bit in the end of it, and I didn't even glue it, it was that tight, I just pushed it in. I'm just cleaning it up so I can paint it as well. I still need to clean up my seams on my wheels. That's almost, yeah, I'll put the arrestor hook on, but I'll leave off that little antenna or whatever it is underneath for now. I'll put that on later. I don't bump it. Yes, I'm just about ready to start. Once I clean this up, paint it, can mask off, and I can start priming and painting. Now I've painted up, cleaned up this cockpit area, all good now. I still haven't given it a wash. I'll wait, I think, till I've painted the aircraft. The windscreen on, fitted really good, perfect fit. I used crystal clear to put it on. With your mask set, it is very difficult to find these edges, but I'm managing. There's 2 of each number. I've found at the bottom number, so add 1 and 1. The bottom one is for the individual canopy pieces, and the top ones are for the single frame. I don't know why, they should be the same, but they are not, because I tried that top number 1 on this piece and it didn't match the framework, so then I tried the other one. So the bottom ones are the ones for the individual pieces. A bit odd. So I'm going to do a dry fit of these clear pieces to make sure they're all going to fit, and then clean up the ejection ports, sand them off and that, tidy them up. Then when I've done that, I'll mask off this area so I can start priming to paint. I'm going to do the silver work first, and then mask off, and then do the colours, the red nose, cowl, and the blue tail, and the yellow wings. The walkways and the red strips are supplied as decals if you want to use them, and I've never really had any issues with Hobby Boss decals, so they would work well, but I'm going to paint it. It'll just look better with paint. For the silver, I'm going to use, because it's not natural metal, it's a silver, I'm going to use Tamier's, this is their lacquer paint range, so it's LP11 silver. It's really nice, beautiful paint. Done a couple of aircraft with it, and it's a nice paint to work with, and it's got a nice finish. This is what I like to use for your high-speed silver type thing. A lot of Cold War jets, early jets, now had it. Even though I wouldn't say, I'm not saying that this was high-speed silver, but it will serve my purpose. The arrestor hook, I was going to glue it on, but best, I think, to do it later. I had to drill the hole. I don't remember a hole being there, but I must have cleaned it up. That peg should go in there. So I drilled the hole out for that. The reason I'll leave it off is it's got the black strips around it, so I'll mask and paint them, make it easier, and then I'll put it on towards the end. So yeah, so getting there, I should be laying down some paint soon. Alright, into priming stage. So I've masked up all these clear parts. Thank God for this set. I don't mind using Tamiya tape and cutting them out myself, but this is pretty over the top for all the greenhouse on this thing. And also some of these panels, or these parts, the framing is a bit soft on the moulding, so it might be a bit harder if you're cutting it out, doing them like I normally do with the Tamiya tape and a blade. with backlight so I can see the frame. It might have been a bit difficult with some areas, so you paint the interior colour and then I'd go over the top with black, and then it'll be the silver. So as you can see, I've primed black where I'm painting the silver, although the leading edge underneath is going to be yellow, but I did the whole lot black so I can make sure I get the right line when I'm asked off to paint the yellow. And when I do paint the yellow, as you can see, I haven't primed that yet. I'll be doing a white base, so I'm not wasting, well, not wasting, but if you use black, you're going to use a lot of yellow to cover up the black. So I'll do white, same as the blue on the tail. Even though I want to weather the paint a bit faded, it'll still be easier over a white primer. So I use this AK's primer microfiller, but I thinned it. It's good to spray without thinning, but I wanted to get it nice and smooth, and that'll help, the thinner helps smooth the paint. Because it's a silver lacquer paint on the real thing, I'm not worrying about doing gloss blacks or anything, because I don't want a high shine finish, and I'm not sure that'll work with this one anyway. But so I'm just doing the primer, then I'll paint the silver in. But if I was doing a natural metal aircraft, I'd use, well, depending on how shiny you want to use semi-gloss black or gloss black. Yeah, so now I'm going to paint in the silver, and then I can start give it a clear coat and mask the silver off, ready for the other paint. Okay, so I'm moving along with the painting. So with this silver, I'm finding it's too clean, so I'm going to break it up later on. Well, a wash will break it up to start with, because there's a whole heap of rivet details and panel lines that'll help break it up. But I've been experimenting on my paint mule with that lacquer silver, trying to darken up around the panel lines. Now, it's hard to, on a certain angle you'll see it like there, you can see different shade, but when you come around, it depending on the angle you look at it, some angles you can see it better than other. So I'll work something out with that, but basically I tried some AK Extreme Metal shades that didn't really show up much, and then I just mixed a bit of black with this color, the silver. So I might just do that. So the cowl, the red, I mixed a bit of, I sprayed the red down. So both the red and the blue, I did, as mentioned, I primed it white, even though the silver was probably good enough for a base. There you go, I just broke the flap off, aileron. So you have to fix that now. Sidetrack now. It's weakened at the plastic joint there, so I'm going to have to, I might get some little tiny brass tube or something and cut them off, drill them out, and then I'll have to do them, insert them again. Anyway, that's another issue to deal with. So I based with the white, then come in over that white. I used a bit of medium grey colour for pre-shading. Black is too much for, well, for me it's too much for red and blue. You're going to need a lot of top coat to dull it down, so I use the medium grey which you can just see it's darkened it. And then I added some yellow to the red and mottled it over. The blue, amazingly, I actually had the call out colour for a change. Usually the blues I'm mixing, it's H5. And same, I sprayed the blue down and then I put some white in that to suggest fading, and mottled it over the top surfaces, not underneath. I also noticed in the instruction, the colour callouts, they've put red for yellow, but obviously it's yellow, but typo, they got red. So now I need to do the yellow, so I have to mask a line underneath for that. So by the looks of it, runs just forward of the landing gear section there, so across that and out. And then the top is all yellow on the wings, which is easy enough to do that one. And then I'll do the walkway and the red strip. By painting them, you can do that sort of weathering with it to make it look better than a decal. But yeah, along the way I'll have to fix this up too. They are small joins for such a large piece, and I'd say the glue has softened them and good bump, they came off. Anyway, that's easily fixed. Alright, almost done. I need to come back in. I got a bit of bleed with the red on the wings with the corrugation. I managed alright with the yellow underneath without any bleed, but I think because it's on an angle, it made it a bit more difficult. So I'll need to, what I'll do is I'll tape in the red and touch the yellow back in. I'm not going to do it right now. I'll let this give the paint some good time to dry. Plus, for some reason, got a bit of overspray in there as well. I ended up, there's decals for that piece on the tail. While I was waiting for the wings to dry, I thought I'll mask in, paint that. Just, that's simple, that one. And I wasn't sure that white decal, if it'll be partly transparent when it goes. Some colours, some decals like white over blue, the blue or red or whatever will show through. So it was just as quick to mask it. So I put some, was it that one? Yeah, it's still a bit. What I did though is I used, where did I put it? There it is. 0.5, half a mil. Just cut, as mentioned, I cut off the stubs and drilled into the wing and into the aileron and pushed it in, but it's still a bit loose. I might have to put some super glue on it to make it set it properly. Yeah, so I'm in the process of painting a torpedo up. I've painted up almost all the other parts. I painted up the wheels, the gear legs, and I painted in all the canopy sections. So once I touch in that overspray, then it'll be time for some decals. But really love this scheme. This aircraft looks stunning with the bright colours on them.